Morning, everybody. It is July 4th, 2020. We got murder hornets, and we got COVID, and we got everything else going on in the world, but it's a nice day out. It's supposed to be a decent day. Gonna be in the upper 80s, early 90s maybe? I don't know. Yep, low 90s. Gonna be decent though. It's afternoon, noon, 1 o'clock. There's 20% chance of rain. Later on in the day, it is more rain. 40% chance, 3 or 4. So anyway, so it's going to be a decent day, though. And I'm looking forward to it. So let's see. Stuff going on. We're going to go over one house today. And I actually wanted to talk about some other stuff. A lot of people think that mold is the crazy, deadly, oh my gosh, we're all going to die if we've got mold. And I have a little bit different viewpoint, and maybe I'll educate you guys. So mold is found everywhere. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are, whatever. All houses have it to some extent. You get it in the shower, right? It doesn't mean it's the deadly mold. I think that a lot of times we have a better chance of winning the lottery than getting the deadly black mold. Even the CDC website says that you want to use a bleach solution to clean up mold. Mold is obviously a plant. It needs moisture to survive. So if you shut off the moisture to it, it's going to die. I'm not going to get into how to clean it up and all that sort of stuff, but, there seems to be so much panic the second you mention the mold word. And I think it's really is unfound. And I think it's pretty easy to clean up for a lot of this sort of stuff. And so, if you cut off the moisture, and then you use like a bleach solution to clean up the areas or remove the areas, if you also can even go beyond that and do hydrogen peroxide solution to kill the mold, stuff like that. There's some awesome products out there. I think there's an RDR32 chemical out there that and another supporting chemical. I can't remember what it was called. Let me see here. RDR 3212 maybe. I don't know. Anyways, I can look it up because we bought it in the past. It's a great product. It does a phenomenal job of killing it and then removing it. I mean, you can actually see videos online of them spraying it on, and then the stuff is just disappearing. And so anyway, so we've used that in the past. It is highly aromatic. Hey, Allison. So you need to make sure you've got the full respirator, and I mean full face mask and respirator if you're going to use this product, because it is potent. I mean, we had some guys working on the first floor, and we had some guys spraying it in the basement, and the guys on the first floor were like, we had to leave. The smell was just so pungent, so strong. So anyways, and then the other thing is asbestos. Oh, it's the dirty A word. When you start getting into houses that are 50, 80, 100 years old, you start running into that they line things with asbestos. And asbestos is nasty product, don't get me wrong, especially if it is if it's deteriorating or it has been disturbed. But I kind of got into it this week with a woman who one of our properties that we just bought, we're doing a clear out on it, and we're not touching anything that is, if we find it and we think that it might be asbestos, we're not messing with it. Not at this point. But this woman came running down the street screaming and hollering that we were killing babies and doing all sorts of other stuff because we were cleaning out this property. We weren't messing with, if there is anything in there asbestos, and I'm not sure if there is, we weren't messing with it because it would be ductwork. Ductwork is usually what has it on there, or other stuff that they're trying to do fire retardant. I've seen boiler systems where they were lined in asbestos and stuff like that. But anyways, so this woman was just adamant. Well, did you pull permits to do this, and did you do that? And you've got to have a remediation company come in because you're blah 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 blah. And I'm like, no, ma'am, you don't. I mean, we're just cleaning out the property because these guys were hoarders that we bought this property from. And so I said, you don't need all that stuff. you know, we're just clearing it out. We're not messing with anything that we might think is asbestos or whatever. And so anyway, so she was like, oh no, you got to have, you know, special people and special, you know, whatever. And you really don't. And so I kind of wanted to show you guys this. This is a form that the state of Indiana puts out. You can see right here, Indiana Department of Environmental Management Office and Air Management. Now this is the form that they give you. And I thought I had copies of how you treat it, but it's actually pretty easy to remove. What you do is you go in and you hose down the area. Oops, am I on this right screen? Nope, I'm on the wrong screen. Where am I? Here we are. So you go in and you hose it, just, you know, like a normal spray bottle with water in it. You'll hose it down the area, and then you will you get it wet so that any particulate that gets into the air falls to the ground, right? Because it's wet. It's not flying around in the air or anything like that. And then what you do is you put it into double trash bags. So you put it in one big trash bag, and then you put another trash bag around it, and you seal it up real tight. And then you could fill this form out. This form here from the Indiana Department of Health, and it says this form fulfills both federal and state notification requirements for disposal of asbestos-containing waste material. And this is just a form that you fill out. And then you can take it to the specially designated dumps, and you can get rid of it yourself. You don't have to hire somebody to come out and do this stuff. Now, you may want to. You know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with, you know, doing that. But you don't have to. In the state of Indiana, you do not have to hire someone to deal with this stuff. You know, as long as you're following the proper procedures. And again, I apologize. I thought I had the proper procedures, but I don't. But I'm sure it's on the Indiana Department of Health website. But, you know, you can get rid of asbestos-type materials yourself. You do not have to hire someone to get rid of it. You know, if you fill out the forms and you take it and you get, you know, signature showing that you disposed of it correctly, then you're covered. So, you know, I mean, that's something that, you know, you might want to consider. I guess I should put in a caveat that, you know, I'm not an expert, but I mean, we've done this in the past and we've not had issues. So, I mean, as long as you're taking, you know, good care of yourself and, you know, and you're, you know, trying really hard to do this correct way, then you should be okay. I mean, it's not, yes, it's nasty stuff. My dad actually has worked in a asbestos factory for 6 months, and he has health issues from that. And so, you know, but, you know, as long as you're going in and you're, you know, protecting yourself, wearing a respirator and doing that sort of stuff, and you're spraying this stuff down so where it's super moist, you can remove it and you can remediate it yourself. You do not have to, according to the state of Indiana, you do not have to hire a specific specialized company for it. And this does not say anywhere in this document that I've been able to read that this is different for commercial properties over, what do I want to say, residential real estate stuff. So, I mean, I originally received this for residential real estate. So the actual a officer from the Indiana Department of Environmental Management, or an inspector, I can't remember what her title is, but she was the one who gave me this form, and she was the one who gave me the pamphlet on how to remediate it ourselves. So, you know, this is something you guys should go out and do some research on, but you do not need to spend thousands and hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of dollars getting this remediated. What's up, Frank, baby? How you doing, brother? So in Indiana, we're not Nazis like in New York City, in Frank's world. So you can remediate this stuff on your own. All right, so I've kind of went off on a little tangent there for a little while, but let's talk about real estate. So today, we're going to go, look, I'm not in my normal hoodie. Isn't that awesome? Not in my normal hoodie. Everybody's been giving me grief because I do a hoodie, but I do this show in my basement, and it's like a constant, like, 65 degrees down here, so it's always cold down here. So when I come down here, I usually have got a hoodie and I've got a little space heater, even though it's summertime and it's 90 degrees outside. But it is nice because if I've been outside working for a long period of time, I'll come down here in the basement to cool down. So anyway, so no hoodie today. So we're going to go through one property this morning. I'm going to get you guys out of here as soon as I can. I guess it depends on Kyle, but it looks like he's only got 3 videos for this one house. So I think we should be in good shape. So anyway, so let's do the logo, and then we'll go from there. All right, so let's see here. I don't have any of my cheat sheets up or anything. Give me a second here. I guess I could do that while the video's playing. Let's do it. Do it. So this is a house that we took back off a rental. And actually this tenant was using it as a daycare center. So we are okay with doing that on our rentals as long as they are licensed in the state of Indiana. They have their own insurance to cover their own liability insurances to cover having a daycare, and that they are being inspected quite regularly from the city and so on and so forth to keep their licensing and all that sort of stuff. We also add on an extra $100 a month to the rent because our own insurance goes up on these houses by about $100. Even though they've got their own insurance and they're covered, we still have to tell our insurance company, hey, we're renting it out and it's going as a daycare center, and they're fully licensed and they're being inspected, and they've got their own insurance, and we have to give that documentation to our insurance company. Our insurance ends up going up about $100 a month. So anyway, so I think it's more like 70 or something like that. So we get a little bit extra, but sometimes it's not. It really just depends on the insurance company. And so anyway, so this house was actually a daycare center for the past year. And so we just recently got it back. And so we're going to see if it's trashed, if the little kids did the markers all over the walls or not. Any guesses? Any bets? Markers on the walls? Yes? No? Usually we get them back in pretty good shape, so I'm hopeful that this one won't be too bad.
So outside, got some extra trash here by the trash cans.
Woohoo!
That gets picked up. Doesn't look like the neighbors have trash cans out, so I don't.
So this is an interesting story. I'm going to tell you this story. I'm going to stop it. So this neighbor here to my right, when we originally bought this house, it was like 2 or 3 years ago, we originally bought this house, we had a big dumpster brought in because we were going to empty this one out, and then we also were going to put trash in the dumpster from a couple of other houses we were rehabbing at the time. And so anyway, so we were like, 2 or 3 birds with one stone. So I dropped the dumpster off, and within a week I came back and the dumpster was full. I mean, to the rim full. And this house next door over here, when I had put the dumpster in, I noticed he had a bunch of trash out front. And so when I came back and saw my full dumpster, a ton of that trash was his. He put it in there. So he had a for rent sign on his house. And so I called him, and I was kind of mad. I was just like, hey, I don't know you. You don't know me. I own the house at blah, blah, blah. And I said, we have a dumpster there, and you threw all your trash in there. And I said, I do not appreciate that. And so anyway, so this guy, come to find out, this guy said, man, I want you to know that I had nothing to do with that. He said, I got a call from this guy, and he said, hey, I'll get rid of your trash for $300. And he said, I told him no, I didn't want him to get rid of my trash. And he said, I will get out there and get it picked up. And so this guy said, whatever. So he hung up on him, right? So a couple days later, this guy called him back and said, hey, I got rid of your trash. You owe me $200. And he's like, and if you don't pay me, I'm going to bring it all back and I'm going to throw it everywhere. Basically just kind of intimidated him. Well, this guy was taking all that trash and throwing it in my dumpster. And come to find out, this guy was advertising that he would throw people's trash away for them for price. So my dumpster got filled up. This guy made bank. Yeah, long pause. And what's even worse is there's a sheriff or a guy with a sheriff squad car living across the street. And, these two, this one and the sheriff guy, are buddies. So anyway, so I just thought that was funny. I mean, you got to laugh at this stuff now. I mean, it really made me mad at the time, but you got to laugh at it now. Otherwise, you'll go insane.
It's trash day.
Trash day.
This front window here does not have a screen.
So this is kind of interesting. We talked about asbestos earlier. This is actually the house that it had asbestos underneath it. And this is the house that the agent gave me the instructions on how to remediate it myself. Now, we were in a time constraint and I didn't want to mess with it, so I actually just hired it out, and I think we spent about $1,000. It was about I want to say a 15 or 20 foot line, a water line that was wrapped in asbestos. And so anyway, so we just had some guys come in and remove it. So yeah, they charged me $1,000 to remove 15 or 20 feet of asbestos. And all they do, like I say, is they go in, they put the gear on, and then they go down in there and then they hose it down, with a pressure washer, or not pressure washer, but pressurized tank, 2-gallon tank that you prep, and then you just spray it out and it comes out like a mist or whatever, and they hose it down, and then they basically break it off, and then they put it into a trash bag, and then they double bag it. So they'll put another trash bag around that bag, and then they bind it up, and then they take it off to the dump. $1,000. So you could save some money by doing it yourself, and you are legally allowed to do it yourself as long as you follow the directions that the state of Indiana gives you.
Power seems to be off, so I can't test any of the electric.
We got some trimmer on this window we got to do.
Both these windows have screens. There's duct tape around the whole perimeter of the window.
So these are newer windows, right? Within the past couple of years, so they're double pane window or double. Is it double pane? Yeah, I guess it's double thickness, whatever. My brain's fading this morning. So they should be really, really good. So there shouldn't be any issues with thermal loss or anything like that. But these folks decided to put up plastic wrap on all the windows to keep the heat in, which they use duct tape. Now, they use duct tape on the exterior, which is better than if they did it on the interior, because if they did it on the interior, it's going to rip up the paint and the trim and just do a bunch of damage to the walls and stuff like that. Now, hopefully this stuff will come off, because duct tape, after being on for 2 or 3 days, leaves a gummy residue when you come back. So I'm sure there's going to be a gummy, nasty residue.
On there.
Yeah, they did it on all the windows.
There's a remnant of some kind of fence here.
That's not hard to jump, unless you're like a 4-year-old. More duct tape.
We've got duct tape around this window again. This one has a screen. Downspout there does not have an extension.
Well, once again, you got to run your gutters away, folks. Your downspouts away.
Crawl space access.
Yeah.
Another window with duct tape, has a screen.
What did we say earlier? Do we have screens on all those other windows? Allison, ask Kyle.
Hose of some sort coming out of here. I don't know if that's
That's a sump pump.
a sump pump discharge.
Needs to be run away.
There's a lot of extra pieces of it. Looks like maybe it got run over with a lawnmower or something. I don't know. Maybe it's just disassembly. But whatever that is, I'm not sure. Probably just needs to assess that and see if that hose is really supposed to be there and where it's supposed to end at. Another window with duct tape and a screen.
Oh. I'm not feeling that on those blinds.
You can see a little bit of peeling paint right here. Dryer vent probably needs to be replaced, so it has the covers there. Looks pretty good from what I can see from here. Can't really get a good angle on the back part.
I think that's a newer roof. I think it's a brand new roof, like within the past 2 or 3 years.
There's another window, duct tape around it, has a screen. I don't know if this is really an alley or not. Doesn't seem to continue this way. I'm guessing this is approximately the back of the lot line. Some branches down on the ground over there, so I may need to get those out. Cut the grass again. Grass isn't too long. Some of these weeds up here are probably 12-15 inches, but most of the yard seems like it's been cut fairly recently.
Nice stroller.
This downspout has an extension.
Doesn't look like it's hooked
This
up.
window has the duct tape all around it again, and has a screen. Storm door has a screen. Here's a downspout extension without a downspout, so maybe that goes. I think the
I don't even see it.
front had one that was missing it, and then you can see here, like behind the gas meter, the house can use pressure wash. Here we go. Yeah. This downspout also does not have an extension. I don't think I got that one before.
You didn't. Terrible. Terrible, terrible.
Front one, that one on the back, no extensions. Here's one with an extension.
Oh, there it is.
Here's an extra extension.
So these are a little short. Typically, we're putting in about 10 foot
So you got two extra extensions there. And
extensions,
then it looks like,
because 3 feet's just not far enough away from the
last one
house, because you don't
has
want water
extension.
coming into your
they'll have
basement
them, just two of them
or-
are not attached. This window
this in the screen.
does not have duct tape around it,
What?
and it does have a screen. It looks like the screen might be missing a little corner piece right here, but it's in there. There's a little dent in the siding right up here, and there's a little chip in it over just to the right of that door,
Yep.
and a very small piece chipped there just to the left of that window. Another little chip right here.
Yeah, it does kind of need
This
to be
window has duct
pressure
tape around
washed.
it.
So this is the, in Indiana, your north sides of your properties are going to start to get mold on them. Oh, did I say the M word? Mold. Anyway, so the north sides of your buildings usually get it, or areas that don't get a lot of sunlight. So this is the north side of the building, so you can see there was some mold forming up here, and then there was also some mold back there on that other side by the gas meter. That's pretty typical.
This window has duct tape around it, does not have a screen. You've got a little bit of spray paint on the house just below that window, and just here right in between these windows.
And they're letting kids run away with.
Part of the roof there, or the siding, you can see you could use house wash there too. This window here has a screen, has duct tape all around it. And here's this downspout. Has the extension, but it's not attached. And there's concrete, like a parking pad. Probably was a garage at some point back there.
Yep.
Looks like that's fairly decent condition at this point, and the driveway is gravel. No obvious major issues there.
Front yard's better cut than the back. That's for doggone sure.
Front porch doesn't look too bad. You know, the paint you can tell is a little old on the railings, so you could put new paint there, but I don't think it's absolutely necessary.
Oh, we got free carpets. Oh, nice. We got free lots of stuff. Now, this is interesting.
Inside.
So, there's some water here. I wonder where that water came from, because I don't think we're going to see... Man, they let the kids run loose, didn't they? So, here's... these blinds are going to have to be replaced.
Puddle here on the floor. If we look...
No damage on the ceiling.
Any ceiling
So, did
damage?
they mop the floors and...
It maybe was that there was a window AC not installed quite right in one of these windows, and that was leaking to there, or maybe just something that they spilled as they were moving out. There is a puddle there right now. Blinds on this window straight ahead of us are broken. Blinds on this window with the party decorations on it are broken. These blinds here are broken. These blinds are broken. Besides the puddle on the floor looks pretty good in this room. There's a little section over here that looks like probably was pieced in at some point, but it looks fine. And then can't tell everything in this rug here, but the rest of the floor looks pretty good. Got a little bit of stuff on the walls, not much. And the walls overall look pretty good. You can see some spots. Looking at the camera.
Yeah, I can see them.
Looks like it's showing up.
Right here.
Let's see if it's any better with the light.
Nope, worse.
It shows up better this way. They've done touch-up paint with maybe a different sheen or slightly different color or something. But overall, I would say the walls in this room are pretty good. Some spots over here with something peeled the paint off or what, but there's a little bit of missing paint right there and some tape on the walls. I think this board here behind the door is kind of a door stop where the knob will hit. That's everything for this. You're missing one outlet plate cover. So for this first room, I guess the living room we'll call it. I don't think that puddle's an issue. I think it just needs to be cleaned up. I don't think it's coming from anything wrong with the house. The walls probably are okay. Could just be cleaned. Probably don't need to be actually painted, but you do need to replace the blinds on all three of the windows in this room. And then this, I don't know what this room here is. I guess it's dining room.
Yeah, itty bitty little dining room.
Replaced. Then we need a globe for this light fixture. I do not see it sitting on the ground right here. Doesn't mean it's not somewhere else in the house, but at this point I would figure you probably need to just get a new one. We've got some hooks on the wall over here, so as long as those remove without damage like they're supposed to, but never really seem to actually do, then the walls in this room are going to be okay. Should just clean up pretty well. There's a little bit of wear to them right here. I don't know if it shows up better with or without the light, but a little bit of wear there and some touch-ups that are different sheen. There's also this motion detector up in the corner that looks like maybe it's different size than what was there before, so it's missing some paint. If you have the same color and sheen of paint, some quick touch-ups would probably help, but the walls don't look real bad in here. Flooring in the dining room here also looks like it's pretty good. Got another little like wet spot right here.
I wonder if they
It's a lot smaller. It's not showing up as.
did they maybe mop the
And that might be,
floors?
like something that's just like sticky that's been spilled there. So
That might be a
it's actually
sticky.
puddle.
Yeah, it does look sticky.
So
Oh, there's video one. Woohoo! We went through that pretty quick. Let's see if I can get video 2 up. Video 2. Video kill the radio star.
this way to this bedroom.
Well, these blinds look decent.
These blinds here do not look to be broken, but this one over here is. Walls in here look very good so far.
This was probably the nap room.
I would say the walls in here are pretty good. I don't really see any issues. Check the back of this door. Door looks good. Closet door seems good. Inside the closet looks good. Closet door closes and latches.
Woohoo!
There's some like beams here, little styrofoam beams that need to be cleaned up. But I don't think there's any damage to the floor. That's the main thing I'm seeing. There's this little spot right here too.
So this house had obviously hardwood floors, and we were able to reuse most of them. There is one bedroom that
And as long as there's not any
floors we had to. Yeah, we actually refinished these.
I think you're gonna be good to go
This is, I still own the equipment, but we used to, or we have, the sanders to do hardwood floors, but
Line put up on window.
in a lot of these rentals, it's just not worth refinishing hardwood floors.
Make sure this door latches. Yep. Bedroom
Little
door
sticky.
closes and latches. This closet door here in the hallway closes and latches. It's got the closet rods on the ground there. Overall, looks pretty good. Inside the door has a couple of chips in the paint right down.
I was going to say, it scratches from the kids. If you're bad, you must go in the closet. Closet of doom.
Right here on the bedroom.
That's
door
where.
frame. I don't think that that's damage. I think that's just wear and tear where the door probably rubs there. But if you have matching paint, quick touch up, make that look a little better. If not, it's not the end of the world.
Attic
Attic
access.
access looks fine. Light fixture in the hallway looks fine. Smoke detector, thermostat. Everything seems pretty good in the hallway. Back up and get you an angle on the floor. I think the hallway's all good.
No, that's right. We did
Everything needs to be done there.
we did one of the bedrooms, and then we did the kitchen.
Floor looks good.
Yeah.
A little dirty, but I don't see damage.
Tub needs to be cleaned.
It's very dirty. Hopefully that just cleans out. The surround, not as dirty. Looks pretty good. Don't see any damage there. Toilet, damaged. The vanity. The top looks alright. Faucet looks alright. But this, the doors have the finish kind of coming off of them. And inside, not looking great. It doesn't look damaged really, it just stained, so some paint probably fix that. But these doors, it's like that wrap stuff and it's coming off of particle board. So I don't know, I would probably say you're looking at replacing the vanity at this point. And if you can find one that's the same size, you can keep the top probably. Soap dish on the left is all corroded looking. On the right, not as bad. So those probably need at least cleaning. I don't know, maybe there's like a paint that you can put on them to get them looking even better. I don't know if this is. There it is.
Free curling iron.
Medicine cabinet seems alright. The mirror's got.
Ooh, I like that.
Comes down at the base.
Toilet paper holder. Always looking for inexpensive options for toilet paper holders
Sure.
instead of putting holes in the walls.
Those are usually the bulbs you use there, but looks alright. And we've got. Oh, we're upside down. Let's see. Come on. Maybe get it better from over here.
Got a vent.
The bath fan is kind of hanging on the left from this view. So I don't know if that can just be pushed up. It's not too major, and I don't know if that's working or not at this point.
Free chemicals.
Cabinets, just some stuff left behind. Doesn't look like there's damage. This top shelf here. There we go. There's like a little bit of stain there, so maybe a little bit of touch-up paint in there. A couple some marks on this shelf too. Bottom one looks good. There's stuff blocking it. The bottom one's closing, the top one isn't, but it's because there's stuff in the way, so I think when it's cleaned out, it'll be fine. I don't think we went over the walls in here. They look good.
Semi-gloss.
And there's the back of that door. Make sure it closes. Okay. The bathroom door closes and latches. So for the bathroom, you're gonna need the bathtub cleaned, and then assess that and make sure it doesn't need like some touch-up paint or something. Maybe put that bath fan back up, and I'm thinking probably just replace the vanity.
Oh, replace the vanity, huh?
Hopefully the surface is just clean up. Alright. Second bedroom.
So this one is one of the ones that we've done our LVP solutions on.
Door closes but does not latch.
Okay.
And right here we've got a hole punched in the door. Not too big of one, so maybe you can patch that. Here's this lovely repair. You might want to do that in a little bit better way than just covering it with layers and layers of masking tape. And then maybe, I mean, that probably could just be covered with one of those little round bumpers over where the knob will hit. Then you don't have to really do much fixing, and you won't have to fix it again next time. Some damage up here.
Well, that door needs to be replaced.
That's going to be from these hooks they've got hanging on the door. I think that's like a glass break sensor up there, and then we've got a smoke detector in here as well. Got this. This would be plumbing access, I believe. So the little, there's like some shelves leaned against it. So the shelves aren't attached, that's just trash, and then that's plumbing access. Little banner attached up there. This blind here is broken right there. This blind is broken in many places. Flooring in here. I don't know what this is. Laminate, LVP.
It's LVP.
Can't really tell. It looks good though. I don't see really, and there's a couple of these real minor spots where you can see a little bit of separation, but it's nothing major at all. I don't see any damage to it either, so I think you're good shape there. Some stuff left behind in the closet. Floor in the closet looks good. Walls in the closet seem fine.
What's the sign?
Doesn't look like that planning calendar is there to.
Woohoo! Planning calendar.
And that door closes and latches and opens.
Wow.
And there is
A door that
stop
opens.
for the closet door,
How awesome.
so you don't have a dent there. It looks like there was a door stop here, so that may be something that got broken off early in the tenancy, and then they just kept banging the door into the wall. Well, I guess they didn't really look at walls in here.
A, B, C, D.
A couple of spots where you can tell they touched up at some point, but besides that spot for the doorknob, I think everything's good. I think that's really the only thing in this room. Yeah, I would say the blinds, this spot where the door was hitting, and then patching that dent in the door there. It'll be good for that bedroom. On to the kitchen. Okay, we got water on the floor here, coming from probably the refrigerator. So it looks like stuff left on top of the refrigerator, kind of dirty. Flooring, aside from there being a puddle on it, looks pretty good.
So this was an interesting thing.
Looks good. A little bit of stuff left behind, but don't see any damage. Line.
So Menards has a website where you can go and you can do kitchen planning. So in this house, we ended up gutting this basically, not to the studs, but basically we got rid of everything in the kitchen and redid it. So I got online and they had, how did they word it? So they had unfinished oak cabinets that you could buy, or they had, I think it said something like professional cherry or something, you know, but it never said it was unfinished. So I was like, it's only about $100 more to buy the cherry cabinetry. So I bought the cherry cabinetry, and then when it came in, it was unfinished. So what we did was, luckily my dad is
They're even
a
cordless.
car guy, and so we bought some
Light in here.
lacquer thinner, and we lacquered these
Stuff
up.
left behind in the cabinet. The cabinet itself does not
So they look really, really
damage.
good. And they're very, very inexpensive. I mean, they're good cabinets. This is like the third or fourth tenant we've had in this property. Oh, now that video's over. Last video.
A little stain right there, nothing major. But then this cabinet door is completely loose at the bottom.
Oh,
So that'll need to be reattached. Looks like the hardware's there, so I'm not sure how it came apart, but it is apart now. I think that's just stuff stuck on the counter. A little bit of stain right there, hopefully just cleans up. Same thing right in front of this tray. So unless I'm missing it, it looks like the counters are going to be just needing to be cleaned.
woohoo!
Some pretzels there in that cabinet for you. Cheerios up top.
Wahoo!
A little bit of stuff left behind in here. I think this knob here is loose too. I think mostly on the cabinets. You're just going to clean them out. Angle for you there. A bunch of stuff in that drawer, so I can't tell if there's any underlying issues besides that. Corner cabinet, got some mouse traps. I don't see mice in them, so hopefully that means there's not mice here. But maybe there were at some point. Oh, I switched to baits. Okay.
So they have mice.
Maybe a little bit of leaking down here, dripping. So maybe put something in the base of this cabinet to make it look a little nicer, clean out the trash. And I'd say from the look of that drain line, just assess that and make sure that whatever was.
So they've had mice problems because you can see
both of those.
the mice poop.
are a little loose. This knob's loose. Drawer looks okay. This knob's loose. Some extra screws, batteries, random stuff in there. Bunch of stuff in this one. Don't see any obvious damage, but it could definitely be hidden behind that. This one's pretty full too. And then these base cabinets over here look kind of dirty. So hopefully that's just stuff that wipes
Can
off,
clean up.
cleans off. I don't know, these drawer fronts look a little different from each other. I don't know if that is just the style of these cabinets or if one of them's been replaced. We did those. There is up on the ceiling, a little spot where the paint's coming down. I'll try to see if we can tell if there's any evidence, any roof issues out that side. See if that's what the issue is or if it's just maybe humidity in here. And we did not look at the dishwasher yet. Front of the dishwasher looks alright. Inside, got a little bit of corrosion, rust, whatever on the rack on the bottom.
Free cups.
Looks alright. Smells a little bit, but doesn't look too bad. Top of the range looks alright. There is. See if I can line up right to get it.
What am I looking at?
Paint issue. Maybe that's a. I don't know what that is. Might be a roach trap or something there. I thought it was scratching the paint, but it's not. Oven
Needs to be cleaned.
is very dirty. And this drawer is not too bad. It's got loose stuff, so that should be easy enough to clean out. Power's off, so I'm not going to open the fridge.
Oh, smart man.
But I would guess there's going to be some stuff in there. And then this probably just needs to be removed. I don't know if that's, I'm guessing a smoke detector, but it's like held on with a push pin. So I'm not really installed right. Some more of that fence that was falling over out in the front. And looks like we got something green spilled on a couple of these shelves, so they're going to need some touch-up paint. Here's the camera does not like me to look up. Let's see. Hopefully that showed it for you. Just a
Alarm
panel,
system.
but the front panel looks like it's missing on that.
Yeah.
Oh, other side of this door. So this side of the door, there's a couple holes up top, no real big deal, and then some marks on it. Hopefully that just cleans off, but there were a couple other spots we were looking at with just some white touch-up paint, so maybe take care of that as well. This is our laundry and utility room, I believe. We got a gas water heater, looks good. Gas furnace, that looks fine. Until furnace filter is not installed, so you're gonna want to get that in there. This is gonna be, I believe, the washing machine hookups. There is like a little towel on one of them, so that could be a sign of leaking, but I do not know that for sure. The dryer vent is plugged with some stuff, I think just because the dryer's not here right now, and it is set up for a 3-prong electric dryer.
Woohoo, 3-prong electric dryer.
Obviously some stuff left behind on these shelves. Floors in here look pretty good. There is kind of a, I don't know if it's a low spot or a high spot, but there's a difference in height.
Yeah, there was.
I think it's from previous flooring that's below this. So I think this is going to be LVP because it seems to have bent pretty well with it. It could be a lure.
Nah, it's LVP.
This
There's some
floor
scratches.
here will need to be replaced. This blind looks like it's good. This one is broken. Oh, clip came off. I had that happen to me before. I think it's missing a little piece it's supposed to have, actually. This is probably not something that's as easy to replace as you'd like it to be, but if it is, it would help. It's just missing, like, right there. You can kind of see that top little piece. There's discoloration to it where a little clip or something broke off of that.
Hey, free stapler. It's not a red swing line, though.
But there's the panel. Doesn't look like there's any issues there. Well, it is missing the screws there and there. So probably just put that back on. Here is actually a furnace filter.
Woohoo, now we know the size.
The one. Looks new. Let's see if that's the right size. At least close. Maybe needs a little bigger. I don't want to drop it in there. I think that is everything here. Walls in this room are pretty good. So recapping this one, it's the assessment on that plumbing over there for the washer hookup, and then just clean it out and pop a couple more screws in the panel cover and replace that blind. And just make sure this door is operating. Yep, opens, closes, latches, and the storm door is good too.
Woohoo!
And I think that does it.
All right, so let's go through our cheat sheet on this property here. Hold on. All right, so we got appliances, fridge, electric stove, whatever. All right, so we got to remove some duct tape around the exterior windows, run some downspouts away about 10 feet. Most of those are there. So we'll use the 4-footers. Okay, hook sump pump evac line back up on the exterior. Replace dryer vent. I think those are about $25, and so let's say it's about $50 to do that. Scrape and paint back window trim. I'm going to say it's about $100 to do that. Replace one screen. I don't know, maybe at $25. Pressure wash soon. So this is a. Do you want to do it now or do you want to do it later? Assess water bottles in living room and kitchen. I think the one in the kitchen is obviously a comes from the refrigerator. Defrosting. Remove trash inside. It's probably about $250. It should be about $250. Replace several blinds. There are 8 of them. I was counting them as we were doing it. You got to figure that they're probably about. I think they're up to about $8 to $10 a piece now. So you're probably looking at $125 by the time you figure in the labor. You got some lackey that's going to do it for $10 an hour, right? So it's probably closer to, it's probably $100 in blinds, and then $25 for installation. Minor touch-ups throughout. I'm going to say $250. It really is not a lot. We should have the color. Obviously, it's a eggshell, and it's our normal accessible beige. Replace outlet covers in the living room. That's like a 39-cent part. Replace globe in dining area. I think they're about. Let's say it's probably like, I don't even know how much those things are. So let's say it's $25. It's probably overkill. Replace the vanity. It's probably about $100 for a new vanity, and then it's about $100 to install it. Replace back bedroom door. A sleeve or a slab door is probably about $40. And then you gotta put the hinges and do all that installation and all that stuff, so probably about $100. Even if you want to just patch the holes in that door and paint it, you're still probably looking at $50 to $75. Repair bedroom door stop and wall. Again, we'll probably just yank that tape off, and then we'll have to do some touch-up paint, and then we'll just put one of the little discs. Where are you? There you are. They're little discs, and you put them on there, and then the knob hits the disc and not the wall. Fix kitchen upper cabinet hinge near fridge and check knobs. According to Kyle, that was there, so it should be easy fix. Check kitchen sink for drain leaks. That should be pretty simple. Fix peeling. Is it P-E-A-L or P-E-P? I don't know. Which is it? Peeling paint on ceiling in the kitchen. That's probably, what we'll probably end up doing is just flaking it off. The excess, getting back to a point where it's solidly attached to the ceiling, and then we'll just do touch-up paint, so maybe $50. Install furnace filter. The one he put in was a 12 by 20 by 1, but you could see in the picture that it needed to be a little bit wider. And just recently I had one for my father-in-law, and his was a 13 by 20 by 1. So what you end up doing on that, and a little trick you can use if you do an oversized furnace filter, you don't want to, and actually that was a 20 something, I don't even know. I'm just going to say check size. What you can do is if you got a furnace filter and it's oversized, you can cut one side of that furnace filter off. So if it's 14 by 20 and you need a 12 by 20, you can cut 2 inches off the 14-inch side, and then just put a little piece of duct tape along that edge so that it kind of makes it, nicer. And then you can use that. Now, if you start cutting 2 sides off the furnace filter, then you're going to get into structural problems. It's not going to hold. There's actually quite a bit of air coming through ductwork, so it could just pull it into the unit, and then you could cause yourself a lot more problems. But you can, if you're just cutting one side down, you can do that. So check for leaks at the washer and dryer hookups, replace register in utility room. I think I'm gonna do some of this stuff. Check for leaks. Check for leaks. There was something else in here. I don't remember. Replace register and utility room. They're probably about $10 a piece, and then you got $5 for installation. Miscellaneous. I'm going to figure about $300 in miscellaneous stuff that we're going to find that we need to do to repair it, and then final clean is going to be about $325. So where are we at price wise for fixing this bad boy up? Give me my calculator. 50 plus 100 plus 25 plus 250. Oop, I'm not going to figure in the 250. Yeah, 50 plus 100 plus 25 plus 250 plus 125 plus 250 plus 25 plus 200 plus 100 plus 50 plus 15 plus 300 plus 325. It's about 1815. So that's where we're at. We're about 1815. Now let's pull up. We've been in this for a while. Let's see here. Let's pull up what, I forget what this house sold for. I sold it to somebody and then they sold it to somebody else. Let's see if we've got it in here. So this guy bought it for $54,000. So let's run our cash flow numbers here. So this house is a 2-bedroom, 1 full bath. We rent it out for $700 a month. Okay, 8. We really have not had that much as far as repairs go. It's been very minimal on this house. All right, so taxes on this bad boy are $846 a year, so that's not bad. $846 a year, and then property insurance on this one's probably about $550. He paid, what did I just say? $54,000. $54,000 for the property. We're not going to do cash out refi on it. There's probably $1,000 in closing costs. We're adding in, how much are we adding in for repairs here? 1815 times 1.2, 2178. So let's say 2200 in renovations. So his cash flow each month is $373.67 if he does not have a loan on it. So it's about an 8% cap rate, 7.84% cap rate. Not too bad. It's a nice little house. It really is a nice little house. If he got a loan on it, let's say he got a 70% loan, and let's say he did 30 years at 4.5%. His cash flow goes down to 170.79, which is still not bad. But his cash on cash return is 12%, almost 12%. So that's not bad. Not bad at all. It's just his cash flow is $2,100 a year, $2,050 a year. So not bad. And if we add in capital, or you know what I mean, depreciation, let's say he's a 25%er. So he's actually, his cash flow is about $25.69.44 after taxes. So it adds in an extra $43 per month for taxes for depreciation on that. So not bad, not a bad rental. Decent cash flow, even if he did get a loan. So yeah. So all right. So any questions? Anything going on? You guys got any big plans for this weekend? I got the inflatable pool out. I'm ready to rock and roll. So anyway, all right, guys. It is 10:30. We've been here an hour. Thanks for putting up with me. Click the like. Please click the like. Click the subscribe. Click the bell icon. If you have any questions, comments, put them below. I'll be happy to answer them. Other than that, I will see you guys later. Thanks. Have a good holiday.